All right, y'all gotta forgive me, man. I'm doing this at the wrong time. I initially had this stream scheduled for a different time, and now I'm coming in middle of the night. It's almost 2 in the morning, and boom, I'm going live. Dirasat. This is Dirasat العرب السود الجزء الرابع والعشرون والعشرون. So this is Black Arab Studies Part 24, and man, I feel like it's becoming more apparent and more obvious that there's like two sides in the world. You got a side that's guided by the light, and there's a side that's guided into darkness. Um, that's not cryptic at all. That's just the reality. Every person got their own internal, you know, um, experience. But from what I understand and what I believe, um, I'm not one of these people that are spiritually dead, that think things are just a materialistic world and that there's nothing more to life than just the air you breathe, um, the scents that you smell, the foods that you eat, and the sounds that you hear, right? I'm someone that believes more than just the five senses. I'm not one of these spiritually dead people out here that's in denial. And really, I think they're kind of lying to themselves or they're uncertain. Um, because of that, I do my best to put out conscious material that's positive, material that's has some type of enlightening aspect to it. Azim Shabazz was in here. Said, "Bring the knowledge, beloved. Bring your knowledge." And then we got the star and the moon and a flame. So Azim it seemed like Azim is definitely an illuminated person, and that's not a play on no Illuminati anything like that. Just he's enlightened. You know, Azim is not a spiritually dead individual, and I think that um, I only attract enlightened people to my page, and I like it that way. I prefer it that way. I want to keep it that way. And part of me starting to change the linguistics up and gravitate toward the Arabic is because I wanted to change the worldview. We are in denial, especially being Americans, especially being English speakers. I believe that we are in denial that a lot of our worldview is very westernized. So the history that we like to purport, we read a lot of English, or we read English material, whether it's American or European. So what I said was, all right, that's fine, right? We have the Western English slash American perspective. What if I flipped it and actually seen what the other side was saying? Because back then, it seems as though the world was a Mediterranean world, right? You had the Mediterranean world. They call it Al Bahr Al Abyad Al Mutawasid, the White Sea. On How should I say this? On the eastern side, you had the Greeks, and you had the Arabs, or you also had the Persians. In the far east, obviously you had the Chinese, but the west would be Spaniards, Brits, and so forth. So as Americans, we get more of the Western knowledge. I wanted to get the Eastern knowledge. So in getting the Eastern knowledge, you realize that there was once upon a time where that Eastern thought was prevalent, and the default wasn't always the Western thought. Right now, we're in the default of the Western thought. So most people they craft their worldview, they craft their opinions and perspective via Western thought. And I think another issue or another fallacy is believing that the modernist view or the yeah, the modernist view is an advanced viewpoint. And I see it in a lot of perspectives where that is not the case. For all my Arab speakers that's coming in here, I know they're expecting to hear Arabic and speak English. One day, one day, inshallah, one day I will do a live stream and at least speak 50% Arabic in the stream. Um, so yeah, so here we are. دراسات العرب السود الجزء الرابع والعشرون. I want to just, go in, do some studies. I went out, you know, been out and about today. Everyone's outside, a lot of traffic, you know. And you know what? I should have did something different. I should have really did the history of Valentine's Day, right? So let me go into that right now because that won't hurt. Let's do that. This is Black Arab Studies, um, part 24. And I'm going to go right off the Wikipedia. Here we go. The history of Valentine's Day. Because, I just got an inkling yesterday to ask myself, what the fuck, excuse me, what the heck, all these holidays that we celebrate, when you look into them, you start to realize, like, yo, it don't really have nothing to do with, like, the concepts that we have of it today. So let's go into this history. Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, also called St. Valentine's Day or the Feast of St. Valentine, is celebrated annually on February 14th. It originated as a Christian feast day honoring a martyr named Valentine, and through later folk traditions, it has also become a significant cultural, religious, and commercial celebration of romance, commitment, and love in many regions of the world. So, I think it's ironic, and I think Christians in general are just very hypocritical. At least I'm gonna say the Billboard Christians, right? On their profiles, they got Romans 28:11 or something like this, right? I don't even know what verse that is, but it's the people who wear crosses. They got something about Christianity in their profile. They proclaim Christianity. These people are really atheists, right? The modern Christian, the average modern Christian is an atheist. Christians nowadays almost really don't exist. There's not even a real thing anymore. Christianity is nothing to be taken serious in 2026. And I say it's been that way probably for the past, at least the past 15 or so years. All right. There are a number of martyrdom stories associated with various St. Valentines connected to February 14th, including an account of the imprisonment of St. Valentine of Rome for ministering to Christians persecuted under the Roman Empire. So, as you can see here, there is no clear story. There's nothing clear. Let me change up the title. Let me change up the title a little bit. History of Valentine's Day. All right. I was under the impression that there was going to be some noble backstory about some knight or some nobleman who put his life on the line for some damsel in distress, and but there's really no story like that to Valentine's Day. It's not there. It doesn't exist. Let's keep on going. martyrdom stories. There are a number of them, right? This is letting you know this shit is made up. It's made up. Just like the Christians, they always making something up, and it's no disrespect to Christians. But I'm talking about the billboard Christians, those ones who proclaim to be Christians. According to an early tradition, Saint Valentine restored sight to the blind, to the restored sight to the blind daughter of his jailer. Numerous later additions to the legend have better related it to the theme of love. Tradition maintains that Saint Valentine performed weddings for Christian soldiers who were forbidden to marry by the Roman emperor. An 18th century embellishment to the legend claims he wrote the jailer's daughter a letter signed Your Valentine as a farewell before his execution. So, as you can see, the Christians are making this up as time goes on, right? They're really just, you could call it being creative if you want to. But there's no real historical backstory to this. It's made up, it's concocted. What's up, Kareem? Just talking about the history of Valentine's Day because why not? Um, and I don't think most people think of or wonder about the why we celebrate these holidays. Me personally, I don't celebrate holidays. Why? Because it feels unnatural to me, right? Oh, today's such and such day. Time to be jolly, right? Oh, today's such and such day. Time to be, you know, Kareem, shut your ass up talking about happy Valentine. I just told you why not. Because it's not natural. These are people who celebrate these days, unless it's really been a family tradition your entire life, even if I'm just saying they're not natural, right? These are it's like you have to force yourself to get into the spirit of these things. It's not like there's anything natural going on in the world, right? Nothing really changed on today. You go outside, if you look up into the stars or if you feel the weather, nothing's really changed from today, from yesterday or into tomorrow, right? It's just something that you're told. Oh, it's Valentine's Day. You have to behave like this. It's the same way I always felt about Christmas. Christmas come around, everyone's supposed to be jolly. You're supposed to have a certain emotion. The emotion that you're supposed to have is not even really natural to you. It's something that you're taught. I'm not one of these people that's so like brain dead with stuff like this. I could see celebrating something that's like a natural event, like, oh, like, yo, there's like a shift happening like in the world that you can actually experience, then that makes sense. Or if there's an actual ceremony that has to do with a historical event, then that makes sense. But Kareem, do you know the history of Valentine's Day? No. Have you ever thought about the history of Valentine's Day? No. Right? But it's this thing that's in Western culture. So now you feel as if you have to participate or you have to behave in a certain way. That's some brain dead shit. Oh, my culture or my culture or my country tells me it's this day, so now we have to behave like this. And when you really look into it, it's a economical thing, right? Just like Black Friday. You know what I'm saying? These are things to stimulate the economy. I also felt the same way like Mother's Day, Father's Day, all these days, right? Where you now pick a day where you have to behave a certain way when you could have been doing that every single fucking day of the year if you wanted to. But because society or your culture tells you that this tradition means to behave like this, now you act like this. You could have been acting like this every single day. You could have been showing love and appreciation to your woman every single day. You could have been showing love and appreciation for your mother or your father every single day. I'm not trying to be one of those people, but I'm just saying. Um, I would respect Valentine's Day more if there was actually like some history to it. There's no history to this. What's the history? Let's keep going. Look, all the simps is mad. They're like, he he just don't want to buy flowers. He's cheap. He don't want to buy flowers. This is what the simps are saying. No, I like history, Kareem. All right, Uhib el Tariq. I like the history. I love history. You know. Here we go. The 8th century Galatian sacramentary recorded the celebration of the feast of Saint Valentine on February 14th. The day became associated with romantic love in the 14th and 15th centuries. So you mean to tell me that this saint was around where did they say? In the 3rd century, right? Supposedly this is some guy who got persecuted by the Romans in the 3rd century, supposedly. These are, and I don't even believe this, for ministering to Christians. And, that has nothing to do with romance. He's just ministering. There's some guy named Saint Valentine of Rome. So we're going to get into Saint Valentine of Rome too. And now you mean to tell me the 14th and 15th century is when the notions of courtly love flourished, apparently by association with the lovebirds of the early spring? So now, 1100 years later, Kareem, you know what? Let's turn this into a holy day. Now, this day is holy. You know what I'm saying? So it appears to me, and it's fine, right? This is a Christian, and it's so ironic, right, that there are atheists who continue to celebrate Christian holidays. Truist. Truist is one of the main ones. He's an atheist, but he celebrates every Christian holiday. Christmas, you know? That nigga got crosses in his house and all that. But he an atheist. I'm just calling people out on their hypocrisy. I know they not gonna like it. I know they gonna call me cheap and bitter. No, nigga, I'm a historian. I do history. I do history. Okay, here we go. In the 18th century England, which is then be staunchly Christian by this time, right? It grew into an occasion for couples to express their love for each other by presenting flowers, offering confectionery, and sending greeting cards known as Valentines. And I don't have a problem with that. That's beautiful. No problem. Valentine's Day symbols that are used today include the heart shape, outline, doves, and the figure of the winged Cupid. In the 19th century, handmade cards gave way to mass produced greeting. So you can see in the 18th and 19th century, it's becoming a commercial affair. Oh, we got this great concept that we can commercialize now. If anybody went outside today in America, you see everyone was hustling and bustling out in that motherfucker. I know there's a lot of money that was made today. I made money today. There's a lot of money that exchanged hands. These holidays are great for stimulating the economy. No problem. No problem. But my only problem with Valentine's Day in 2026, actually, my problem with holidays, period, in 2026 is that no one really believes in them. You know, people now utilize these holidays for to not miss out, fear of missing out. Because we got like social media now and whatnot. So now it's more of a fear of missing out thing. Everyone wants to take part in the culture. It's not even a genuine celebration anymore. And that's what America has lost. America has lost its identity and spirit of being a true Christian nation. If America was still a true Christian nation and still really believed in Christmas and Valentine's Day and all this shit, sure, whatever, no problem. But America is a hypocritical nation. Christians are the billboard Christian is a hypocrite. All right, all they do is proclaim Christianity. They don't live Christianity. Azim, what is Azim? I don't think Azim gives a rat's ass about Christianity, but I don't know. You know what I mean? I think Azim leans more on the Islamic or Muslim side, whether that's an American Muslim or whether that's a traditionalist Muslim. I think he leans more to the Islamic worldview of things, but probably from an American perspective, a Black American perspective. So here we go. The Feast of Saint Valentine is a day of commemoration in the Lutheran Church, being listed in the calendar of saints as well as the Anglican Communion. Many parts of the Eastern Orthodox Church celebrate St. Valentine's Day on July 6th in honor of Roman presbyter St. Valentine, and on July 30th in honor of Hieromartyr Valentine, the bishop of modern tyranny or Interamna. So we got three different Valentine's Day. We got one in February 14th. We got one on July 6th, and then we got one on July 30th. But look, Valentine's Day is a great global marketing day. It's great for global marketing and commercial economical affairs. It's a great day for that. 100%. Just like most things, right? Most things that we see, celebrate, traditions that we have and participate in, these are very commercial things, very capitalistic, economical things. And I'm not anti-capitalist, but I'm just saying these people, they fraudulent with this shit. We got atheist niggas out here taking vacations to celebrate a Christian holiday. Trust. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? The same niggas that get up on this panel trying to criticize Islam or Eastern thought. These niggas out here claiming to be atheists, taking vacations, getting married in the church, celebrating the Christian holidays. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I believe that America has lost its true identity. Yeah, shit. Some people say make America great again. I rather, I miss when America was Christian because America at least had an authentic identity. Now America don't got no damn identity. You know what I mean? And I could go more into that. Let's look into Saint Valentine. Numerous early Christian martyrs were named Valentine or Valentine. The Valentines honored on February 14th are Valentine of Rome and Valentine of Tyranny. Valentine of Rome was a priest in Rome who was martyred in 269 and was buried on Via Flaminia. All right, what's the Via Flaminia? Hold on. Via Flaminia was an ancient Roman road leading from Rome over the Apennine Mountains on the coast of the Adriatic Sea. Due to the ruggedness of the mountains, it was the major option the Romans had for the travel between Etruria, blah, 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 blah. It sounds like some Eastern European stuff going on over there. The relics of St. Valentine were kept in the church and catacombs of San Valentino in Rome. And you know what? I got to say this too. I know there's some bozo ass Pan African dudes who claim to be atheists that are anti Abrahamic, anti religion, anti Christian. And these niggas is going crazy celebrating Valentine's Day. I'm just pointing out that this is a Christian holiday. I'm just going into the history. Uhib el Tariq. I love the history. Uhib el Tariq. Ya Kareem. I love the history. I just find it ironic that the atheists celebrate Christian holidays. And then I also think the Christian in general are hypocrites. Not all of them, the billboard Christians. The relics of St. Valentine were kept in the church and catacombs of San Valentino in Rome, which remained an important pilgrim site throughout the Middle Ages until the relics of St. Valentine were transferred to the church of Santa Prassede during the pontificate of Nicholas IV, 1288 to 1292. The flower-crowned skull of Saint Valentine is exhibited in the Basilica of Santa Maria in Cosmedin, Rome. Okay, so we getting into some Roman history. Christianity. When Truist come back, I gotta talk to him about the way that he celebrates and supports Christian holidays. You know, while claiming to be an atheist. The flower crowned skull. Okay, I read that already. Other relics are found at Whitefriars Street Carmelite Church in Dublin, Ireland. All right, now we got the next Valentine. So we got the Saint Valentine of Rome, who was quote unquote a martyr in the year what they say 269 or something like that. Now we got the next one. Now we got Valentine of Tierney. He became Bishop of Tierney or Interamna and is said to have been martyred during the persecution under Emperor Aurelian in 273. Hold on. So the first one was martyred in 269, quote unquote martyred. The next one in 273. He is buried on Via Flaminia, but in a different location from Valentine of Rome. His relics are at the Basilica of St. Valentine in Tierney. Professor Jack B. Orick of the University of Kansas notes that, quote, abstracts of the acts of the two saints were in nearly every church and monastery of Europe, end quote. A relic claimed to be St. Valentine of Tierney's head was preserved in the Abbey of Newminster, Winchester, and venerated. And then they speak of a third one. So let me get a summary from the AI. Uh, how did Valentine's Day become a day of romance when the patron saints of the holiday were known as martyrs, were martyred, and there doesn't seem to be any romantic stories associated with them outside the claim that one of them were, I guess, marrying couples under the Roman Empire?
Great question. The origin of Valentine's Day as a romantic holiday is quite layered. Originally, Valentine's Day was associated with the feast day of Saint Valentine, a Christian martyr. There are multiple Saint Valentines in history, and their stories weren't inherently romantic. One popular legend says that one of the Saint Valentines, a priest, secretly performed weddings for soldiers who were forbidden to marry under Roman law. The romantic aspect really began emerging later, during the Middle Ages. It was Geoffrey Chaucer, in the 14th century, who first linked St. Valentine's feast day with the idea of courtly love in his poetry. Over time, February 14th became associated with romantic love, partly because it was believed that birds began pairing off around that time of year. So the holiday evolved from a feast day for martyrs into a celebration of love and romance through a blend of folklore, literary influence, and cultural tradition.
Geoffrey Chaucer, who is he, and is it true that birds pair off during this time of year?
Geoffrey Chaucer was an English poet and author, often called the father of English literature. He lived from around 1343 to 1400 and is most famous for writing the Canterbury Tales. Chaucer worked as a civil servant, diplomat, and customs official in London, and his poetry was groundbreaking in its use of the English vernacular. His works, including Parliament of Fools, Troilus and Cressida, and the Canterbury Tales, established him as one of the earliest great English poets. As for the idea that birds pair off in mid-February, it's partially true. Some species, such as American woodcocks, begin their courtship displays and pairing rituals around this time. In medieval Europe, it was believed that February 14th was the day when birds began choosing their mates, and this idea contributed to the association of Valentine's Day with love and romance.
So what? See, my whole thing is this, though, right? My whole thing is this. What the fuck birds got to do with? I know they talk about like lovebirds and shit, but one, they said the bird that is true for is an American woodcock. That shit ain't got nothing to do with Europe and the origins of where this Valentine shit started at. So I want to know where these goddamn Europeans was getting that from, right? Or we could just say that they were incorrect about it, at least from their geographical reality. You know what I'm saying? The Jeffrey Chaucer do. I like the associations of the poetry and love. That's cool. There's no problem with that. But it just seems to me that I think there's more to the story of this creation. Maybe it did start with that European culture of like poetry and romance. And I know at the time they were, they had their little heroic tales and whatnot after overcoming the Moors and all. So they started to. I think I don't know. Point being, we got Pan Africans, we got atheists out here celebrating a Christian European holiday, but they're so anti-European and so anti-Christian. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy based off the history. And the history don't even legitimize the day itself, but that's fine, right? We know you have to stimulate the economy, and this day is a great way to do that. People got to get paid, right? And generally speaking, I think the idea of the day is a great thing. It's a good thing. My problem is the people who celebrate it are hypocrites. And there's no way around that. That's just the reality. Now, if you're a Christian, if you grew up in like a European culture, then to me it makes sense that you celebrate this holiday. But if you are an atheist who, you hate everything about God and people who believe in God and the Abrahamic faiths and the Bible and, you know, then I'm kind of like you celebrating this holiday is like wearing a fucking cross as an atheist. It's like, what are you doing, dude? You know, and this is kind of I'm thinking of mainly Truist when I he's kind of like the poster boy for this type of thing. You know what I mean? Now I know his intention is not to be celebrating Christianity. He mainly wants to celebrate his woman, and most people that's their intention is to celebrate their significant other. But someone like Truist, who's like he's very knowledgeable, you know, he don't get a pass on this. He don't get a pass. I'm not giving people like him a pass. I'm not giving the atheists, the conscious atheists who are all about science a pass, including you, Kareem. I'm not giving you a pass. Oh, you atheist scientists, y'all don't get a pass for celebrating these Christian European made up holidays, bro. Y'all don't get a pass. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, I'm gonna call you a hypocrite. Um, Here we go. The legends. J.C. Cooper in the Dictionary of Christianity writes that Saint Valentine was, quote, a priest of Rome who was imprisoned for succoring persecuted Christians, end quote. Contemporary records of Saint Valentine were most probably destroyed during this Diocletianic persecution in the early 4th century. In the 5th or 6th century, a work called Passio Mari et Marte published a story of martyrdom for Saint Valentine of Rome, perhaps by borrowing tortures that happened to other saints as was usual in the literature of that period. Not celebrating, no, you celebrating. See that? Look, look, look. You buck dancing because you realizing that you are celebrated. You are participating in the Christian European tradition, right? But it's hard for you to say that. You know, it's hard for an atheist to say that. It's hard for a science based person to say that. Me, based off of how I opened this up, I'm actually the more science based or science driven one. I'm not celebrating anything that doesn't have one, a root in history, or two, a root in nature. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a Christian and I'm not European. So, I don't, like I said, the intention behind the day is great, but it would be hypocritical of me to be quote like an atheist, right? Or someone who pushes science, but I'm out here celebrating Valentine's Day. You know, especially in this community, like the online community where people are supposed to be like conscious and aware, you know, it would be hypocritical. Oh, what's the word for hypocrite in Arabic? Munafik? Is it munafik? Let me see. Because we're gonna do some Arabic studies too. Yeah, munafik. Yeah, yeah, right there. Uh-huh. Munafik. That's a munafik. That's a hypocrite. Oh, I believe in science. I believe in science. I'm an atheist. You over here celebrating a Christian holiday. Nigga, what the fuck wrong with you? I thought you were conscious. Munafik. Okay, munafik. Munafik. Okay. No problem, Kareem. Thank you for the correction. Shukran lak. Shukran lak. You know what I mean? Listen, I get it, right? I'm being difficult, right? I'm being hard on the atheists or the munafikun, right? I'm being hard on the munafikun. Do you want me to work on December 25th? You should work on December 25th. Absolutely. Why not? That's another day. You know what I'm saying? I just think that to call yourself an atheist while celebrating Christian holidays is like having a cross in your house and wearing a cross on your neck. And it's hypocrisy. What's the word for hypocrisy in Arabic? Hold on. Hypocrisy. Very spirited today. Nifak. 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 Right? Nifak. Hypocrisy. You know what I'm saying? That is hypocrisy. Don't be a don't be a munafik. Don't commit nifak, or however you say it, nifak. You know what I'm saying? At least attempt to be consistent. Okay, here we go. The same events are found in Bede's martyrology. I've heard Bede's name quite a lot. I think he's English, or he's definitely Western European. I think he wrote the first history, or maybe the earliest history of the Western Europeans, or something like this. Here we go. Bede. Yep. Bede, also known as Venerable Bede or Bede the Venerable, was an English monk, author, and scholar. He was one of the most known writers during the early Middle Ages, and his most famous work, Ecclesiastical History of the English People, gained him the title of the father of English history. That's Venerable Bede or Bede. And listen, I have the Christians of old, the true traditionalist Christians, you got to respect them because I believe they actually were serious about their religion and their traditions and their practices. So you have no choice but to respect them. No choice. I respect them. But my criticism is more so for the modern man, the modern woman who is an atheist, who is a pure non-believer, right? How do we say non-believer or atheist in Arabic? Hold on. El mulhid. El mulhid. El mulhid. Let me listen to it. El mulhidu, right? El mulhid. Something like this. That's my criticisms for the atheists. El mulhid or el mulhidu, however you pronounce it. The modern, the modern one who is running around. El mulhid. Okay, el mulhid. Yes, my criticism is for the modern el mulhid who is so anti Abrahamic faith and so critical of religion, right? If the average American under the age of, let's say, under the age of 30 or even 35 is nothing like their parents or their sorry, not their parents. I should say they're nothing like their grandparents in the sense that their grandparents would have been very traditional, probably staunch Christians or even staunch Jews or whatever. And then the next generation, the millennial and Gen Z is a little on the fence because some of them are still. It's unfair for Gen Z because Gen Z grew up in a time where they don't really have the space to think for themselves because groupthink and social media and all that and media is so pervasive for them. But for my generation, we had both, right? We had the tradition passed down from our grandparents, but we also had a little bit of room to be different, to be different. Now, Gen Z, I feel like they're kind of really, really cut off from the traditions of their great grandparents or grandparents. Um, what was I saying? You know what? I'm not even gonna be soft or gentle with my criticism. I'm gonna stand on it because it's true. What I see now, I see a lot of quote unquote Christians or billboard Christians. Like I was just outside, and this is also a white woman thing. No, it's all of it. It's. I shouldn't even put it down to race. It's a cultural thing. It's an American cultural thing. The American cultural way is I'm a run around with a cross on my neck. I'm gonna run around with like Arabic letters on me and maybe this and that, and I'm gonna act like I'm religious and be actively doing things have that are like go against the religion, like openly too, and not have a problem with it, and then defend the action. I could see it's one thing, right? It's one thing if you believe in a religion, don't practice the religion, but acknowledge your shortcomings. Nowadays, people they say they believe in a religion, and then they'll defend their shortcomings. You know, there's a difference. There's a difference. That's like me saying I believe. That's like me saying I don't believe in uh shit. I don't believe in hitting women, and then I'm out here smacking bitches. And then when you criticize me, I go and defend myself about it. It's like, dude, you're a hypocrite. Like you say you don't believe in this thing, you're actively doing this thing, and then when you get called out about doing this thing, you get defensive instead of saying, you know what, yeah, you know, I don't believe in that, but it's something I've done, and I'm not proud. I'm just calling out the hypocrisy based off the history, because I love history. Um, Look, they're talking about the embellishments of these legends. I would actually prefer it if people came out and just said like, "Yo, like, I'm not this. I don't believe in this." Instead of them acting like it. there's nothing worse than when something than, there's nothing worse than when someone puts on the costume or cosplays as something and they're the complete opposite. It's like when I see women wear a hijab, right? They wear hijab, they wear a baya, and they be out here doing the most raunchy shit. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like me if I'm outside wearing a kufi and a thobe, and I'm out here smoking weed, selling drugs, pimping women. It's like, nigga, take the costume off at least. You trying to give the appearance of something that you not. For what? I don't understand this. People got to stop cosplaying. That's what it is. Everyone is cosplaying. Folk traditions. Here we go into the folk traditions. While the European folk traditions connected with St. Valentine and St. Valentine's Day have become marginalized by modern customs connecting the day with romantic love, there are still some connections with the advent of spring. While the custom of sending cards, flowers, chocolates, and other gifts originated in the UK, Valentine's Day still remains connected with various regional customs in England. In Norfolk, a character called Jack Valentine knocks on the rear door of houses, leaving sweets and presents for children. Although he was leaving treats, many children were scared of this mystical person. In Slovenia, Saint Valentine of I can't say this word, Zdravko, is Zdravko was one of the saints of spring, the saint of good health, and the patron of beekeepers and pilgrims. I will say this. Here's one thing and again, I'm making a distinction between the modern billboard Christian and the old traditional Christians, right? The Christians of yester year. Um, I went to a Catholic school, and I know that's a certain, strain of Christianity, a certain brand of Christianity, a certain denomination or whatever you want to call it. But they do a lot of good things, right? They teach you about charity, giving, donating, volunteering, uh, daily prayer. You know what I'm saying? I still remember our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses and forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Great prayer. Great prayer. But, you know, that's then. I'm criticizing now, and it's really an American cultural thing that I'm trying to harp on. Okay, a proverb says that Saint Valentine. Oh, this is in Slovenia. A proverb says that Saint Valentine brings the keys of roots. Plants and flowers start to grow on this day. It has been celebrated as the day when the first work in the vineyards and in the field commences. I will say this. Now, what is noticeable is the weather is starting to let up a little bit from being so brutally cold. I do see that and I do feel that. It's still cold, but it's not as cold. Like it's not this frigid cold. The weather for this week in Fahrenheit, where I'm at, is going up near the damn 40s later in the week. So if they want to connect it to like a shift in the seasons, you can almost make that argument. I would wait a little bit. I think that more so happens in March when you really see that. But there is a noticeable difference in mid-February. Connection with romantic love. The feast of St. Valentine originated in Christendom and has been marked by the Western Church of Christendom in honor of one of the Christian martyrs named Valentine. As recorded in the 8th century Gelasian Sacramentary. So we get the first feast in the 8th century. In ancient Rome, Lupercalia was observed February 13th through 15th on behalf of Pan and Juno. pagan gods of love, marriage, and fertility. It was a rite connected to purification and health and had only slight connection to fertility as a part of health and none to love. Hey, you know what? Hold on. I got to show this real quick. I got to show this real quick, Kareem. You know, because I've been getting on Truist's case, you know, because he rage quit last week when we were not last week, was it a few days ago? So now, because he did that, he has to bear the consequences of his action. All right. So look at this here. We got our boy Truist. I got my Berber brother Kareem with me on the left side. That's me on the right side. And this is this is Truist. look, look, and we at the round table right here, okay? It says the round table apply pressure to all members. You know, Truist he he blew up. But you know, I can tell when Truist is looking for a fight. He comes in hot every time. He you can tell when he's in that mood, right? I can tell every single time when Truist is in the mood to debate. He comes in with this spirit of debate. You can tell with him. He does a he doesn't do a good job of hiding it. Because normally he's more temperate and tamed, right? He's more calm. But the other day he came in hot. And you got to realize, Kareem, Truist is in an ongoing debate online with certain groups. And then once in a while, he'll come back and he'll bring, you know, his information and see how it holds up at the round table, you know? So don't take it personal, Kareem. He has his own online debates going on in other spaces that you may not be aware of, but I'm aware of them because I talk to him pretty often. So he came in with this spirit of debate. He probably just got off Discord, right? He probably just got off Discord debating, or maybe he just finished watching a Christian apologetic video. So he said, you know what? I see Jay is over here doing this. Dirasat al-Sud al-Juz al-Rabia wa-Ashurun. You know, even though he can't read that shit. He see the Arabic letters and he say, I'm gonna go crash the Arabic party. You know, but the problem is, you know, listen, me, I cover topics that I'm familiar with, and I'm very well rounded, right? But for the most part, Khalid, what's going on here? You see the title, Dirasat al-Arab al-Sud al-Juz al-Rabia wal-Ashurun. Khalid. You know what I mean? Ahlan wa sahlan, brother. But anyway, true is, he came in with the spirit of debate. He thought that he could tell two people who are more familiar with another worldview how non-westernized, non-Americanized people view the world. And I have a book. It's called Black Knights. I have a game. It's called Assassin's Creed Mirage. And I've done countless studies on this topic. So, what I was trying to tell him, you know, I was trying to let him know that, bro, when you say black, you're looking for different identifiers that make someone black. I say this to him all the time. Jason Tatum to us is black, even though the nigga he's damn near pale skinned. Stephen Curry to us is black, even though he's damn near pale skinned. But that's our cultural way of identifying black people because we're looking for sometimes ancestry, sometimes phenotypical traits. In the Eastern world, especially in times of the past, a lot of times when they say this word, they're not talking about how big your fucking nose is, dude. They're not talking about how fat your lips are. Okay? A lot of times they're actually talking about your appearance, your color. Maybe you're asmar, right? Maybe you are aswad or whatever words. He doesn't understand that the the words in Arabic, they're not equal. They don't like equally translate over to the English in our English concepts or our American concepts. He thinks that they should be the same. But when you look at the history and you study that the way the people in the East use these words, they use them differently. They use them differently. So my Berber brother Kareem on the left side. Look, he got his hand on Trua's shoulder right there. And then me, I'm being nice. Look, I got my hand on Trua's back. Like, it's okay, brother. I know you're emotionally damaged. I know your feelings are hurt, but you gotta get up. You gotta go. So we're gonna escort him from the round table. So that's Truist right there, the Pan African. He's in his emotions. Oh man, he'll be all right. Don't worry, Kareem. He'll be back. He'll be back. He's off somewhere on an island or some shit celebrating Valentine's Day with his atheist ass. You know what I'm saying? His atheist ass is somewhere celebrating a Christian European holiday. It's the same way he celebrates Christmas. So he'll be fine. So yeah, that's what that was about, Kareem. Come on, that's a good one. That's a good one. I had to do it. I had to do it. All right. So in ancient Rome, Lu, Lu, I don't know how to say this word. Lupercalia. What the hell is Lupercalia? Lupercalia, also known as Lupercal, was a pastoral festival of ancient Rome observed annually on February 15 to purify the city, promoting health and fertility. Lupercalia was also known as Dies Februatus after the purification instruments called Februa, the basis of the month named Februarius. Huh. Okay. So this is an old Roman holiday, ancient Roman holiday that was observed February 13th through 15th on behalf of Pan and Juno. Oh, you're saying it's like an orgy. Pagan gods of love, marriage, and fertility. It was a ritual connected to purification and health and had only slight connection to fertility as a part of health and none to love. The celebration of St. Valentine is not known to have had any romantic connotations until Chaucer's poetry about Valentine's Day. So this is the dude Chaucer again, Geoffrey Chaucer. So Valentine's Day was not connected to romance until the 14th century. Originally, it had been, I guess, dedicated to something about martyrs or something like this. This is what I was saying about the day. You you can see how it's just transforming over time and becoming something different and becoming like who knows? We celebrate it as something today, and let's say in the year 2600, it could be something completely different. Why? Because it's not rooted in any true history. This is the issue, and this is my criticism. Initially, when I researched this, Kareem, I expected to find a story like a Romeo and Juliet story behind Valentine's Day. There is none. There is none. So listen, I know everyone just likes to live life and go along and get along. That's fine. But to me, I think on a deeper level, I like to go beneath the surface. I want to know the backstory. I want to know the history. I want to know. Some people don't care. That's fine. You know, it is what it is. I like to know. uh, All right, the celebration of Saint Valentine or Saint Valentine is not known to have had any romantic connotations. None, none, none. No romantic connotations at all. None that is known. None. Until Chaucer's poetry about Valentine's Day in the 14th century, some 700 years after celebration of Lupercalia is believed to have ceased. So the celebration of Lupercalia has ended for 700 years. Boom. They're not even practicing this anymore. And then 700 years later, English poet comes and revitalizes at least the idea of this Valentine thing. And now we get more romance infused into this concept. Kareem says, do you know that we celebrate the birth of the prophet in North Africa in Easterners' Day? No, I did not know that. But here's the thing, Kareem. The birth, someone's birthday, whether I agree with celebrating the prophet's birthday or not, at least it's rooted in like an event, right? It's an event. It's an event, so I can respect it. There's no event connected to Valentine's Day as we know Valentine's Day today. There's no event connected to Valentine's Day as we know Valentine's Day today. There's no Romeo and Juliet story connected to your Valentine's Day. There's no his and hers. There's no damsel in distress that gets rescued by a nobleman. None of it. That's what I was expecting to find in this history. That's what I was expecting to find in this history. But guess what? You're not going to find it. Oh, Jay, you're being sour. Oh, you're being a Debbie Downer. No, I'm being a historian. How do you say historian in Arabic? Let me see. Mu'arak. Mu'arak. Mu'arkhun. 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 Something like that, right? I like the history. Okay? I like the history. Mu'arkh. Ana uhibu al-Tariq. Ana uhibu al-Tariq. I like the history. Okay? I like history. Mu'arikh. Okay, mu'arikh. I just do. It's the way my mind thinks. I want to know the origins of these things. Where do they come from? Right? I'm an introspective person. I like to go beneath the surface when it comes to these things that I see everyone like, isn't it? It's not strange. Tariq. Oh, okay. Ana uhibu al Tariq. Okay, I got you, Kareem. Hold on, let me get a little background. You know, if I see 85% of people practicing something, I want to know why they're doing it. And I want to know where this thing comes from. You know, why not? I think we're in the information age. We have access to all types of resources. I mean, why not know? Extend the E. I got you. So let me try again. Ana uhibu el Tariq. El Tariq. Ana uhibu el Tariq. I'm still practicing my Arabic. This is Black Arab Studies Part 24. That's right, Kareem. دراسات العرب السود. Hold on. دراسات العرب السود الجزء الرابع والعشرون. I'm still practicing my Arabic. Okay? So, like you said, تاريخ 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 تاريخ. أنا أحب التاريخ. You know, I'll listen to you say it one day, Kareem. But birthdays. We could talk about birthdays. Me personally, on my birthday, I acknowledge my birthday, right? I acknowledge it. But I don't have a problem with birthdays. I really don't. You know, I think it's, you gotta think, right? Birthdays are kind of more so of like a modern thing in a sense where Rick, Rick, okay, where, you know, naturally the way you would associate your birthday would have to be with the cosmos, right? In you know, in the weather, the seasons. This is how you would associate your birthday. You would not even really know exactly, unless you were very keen with studying the cosmos. You would not know the exact birthday, the exact day you were born on, unless you are part of a high society that had a calendar system and things like this, like a precise calendar system. So I would venture to guess that things were more seasonal based and based off of the cosmos. I don't have a problem with that. When it comes to things that are part of natural cycles, I have no issue with acknowledging them. But that is not Valentine's Day. There is nothing natural about it. It's a European Christian thing that was made up by some Englishmen in the 14th century, according to the historical record. And if you celebrate that as a Christian, no problem. Hell, if you even celebrate it just because, no problem. But if you're one of these people that are science guys, oh, science, 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 science. I'm an atheist, 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 atheist. What the fuck are you doing celebrating Valentine's Day? Huh? There's some people who hate the Bible. Shit, I started to hate the Bible only because that's all people ever wanted to talk about on the channel. The Bible, the Bible, the Bible. I got tired of the goddamn Bible. Come on, man. All right, let's see what else we got. Look at this dude, Chaucer. This is your guy right here. So, Truist, this is who you following right here. This is your Valentine's Day daddy. Okay? Truist, this is your Valentine's Day daddy. I should send this to Truist, but I know he's off somewhere celebrating Valentine's Day, so he could catch the replay. The atheist, the Pan-African atheist, all right? The Pan-African atheist is off somewhere celebrating the Christian tradition holiday, but it's no problem. This is his guy right here, Chaucer, the poet, where we get the at least a modern concept of Valentine's Day from. They say he was a monk. And shout out to the monks. I ain't got no problem with the monks. I ain't got no problem with the Christian monks, the friars, or anything like that. Oh, look, we got the poem right here. Chaucer's Parliament of Fowls. The first recorded association of St. Valentine's Day with romantic love is believed to be in the Parliament of Fowls from 1382. Hope you guys can still hear me over the music. Let me turn it down a little bit. Okay. Here's what he said. Chaucer wrote, oh, hold on. Oh, wait. Hold on. Wait, what? This is honoring child marriage. Hey yo, hold up. Hold up. So all these people that are complaining, like all these goddamn pink-haired liberals, right? All these pink-haired liberals with nose rings and the black men who are painting their nails and shit, who got a nerve to complain about Epstein files and shit, right? But they out here running around celebrating Valentine's Day. You backwards MFers. Look at the origins of this. Let me zoom in on this so you can see. The first recorded association of St. Valentine's Day with romantic love is believed to be in the Parliament of Fowls in 1382 by Geoffrey Chaucer, a dream vision portraying a parliament for birds to choose their mates. Honoring the first anniversary of the engagement of 15-year-old King Richard II of England to 15-year-old Anne of Bohemia. So, by modern standards, and most people who are critical of religious texts, they're modernist, right? They criticize the oh, that's old, that's ancient, that's old. You know, they were doing weird stuff. They were doing, but look at this. They are still celebrating Valentine's Day, a holiday that is honoring. I'm not in any anachronism at all. I'm aware. The people who need to be aware of anachronism are the modernists who criticize the ways of the past while also being critical of the Epstein files. It's so interesting. The liberals are very critical of the Epstein files, right? And I'm not saying they're wrong to be, but the liberals of today and the feminists of today are the most sexually backwards people on the planet. It's actually the traditionalists, the people who practice these old traditional religions in modern times, who are more like responsible with the way that they do things, at least in the West, in American culture. What do I mean by that? Like the average American Muslim has a much more responsible sexual practice than your modern liberal. That's what I mean by that. Anyway, look, honoring the first anniversary of the engagement of 15-year-old King Richard II of England to 15-year-old Anne of Bohemia. Oh yeah, apparently I heard a lot about this, Kareem. Alex Jones was just on a show tonight. They might still be live talking about the stuff they were doing with babies and all types of stuff. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Exactly. That's right. Devil worshippers. And you know what? The modern liberal, who do they follow? They're in love with celebrities. They're in love with Cardi B. They're in love with Kim Kardashian. They're in love with Lil Nas X. But all these people promote devil worship. All these people promote illicit sexual behavior. All these people promote illicit sexual behavior onto children. Why are you putting nudity and all this shit on these public platforms where you know children are seeing you, right? So all these people who are criticizing Epstein, like Cardi B criticizing Epstein and shit, she has no right to speak at all. She is the most sexually irresponsible celebrity at the moment. Her music promotes it. Her image promotes it. And she has the nerve to say something about Epstein. She may as well been on that motherfucker with Epstein. Anyway, but I'm just pointing out, I understand what you mean by beware of anachronism, Kareem. I understand what you mean. But I'm just saying, by the the modernist standards, this would be uh, pedophilic or some patriarchal arrangement that forced these two 15-year-old children into a marriage where they could not consent, right? Because that's the buzzword of today's time, consent and all of this, right? They would definitely say that these 15-year-olds could not consent. But guess what? Valentine's Day commemorates the first anniversary of a marriage between two 15-year-olds. Guess who's running around celebrating it though? Liberals. Liberals are. I'm not criticizing the traditionalist Christian on this. I'm criticizing the hypocrisy of the liberal, the atheist, who still partake in Christian traditional holidays. That's what I'm criticizing. All right, let's keep going. Here's what Geoffrey Chaucer wrote. For this was on Saint Valentine's Day, when every fowl cometh there to choose his mate, of every kind men thine may, and that so huge a nose gan they make, that earth and air and tree and every lake so full was, that unearth was their space, for me to stand, so full was all the place. In modern English, for this was on St. Valentine's Day, when every fowl comes there to choose his match, of every kind that men may think of, and that so huge a noise they begin to make, that every earth and air and tree and every lake was so full, that not easily was there space for me to stand, so full was all the place. Okay, readers have uncritically assumed that Chaucer was referring to February 14th as St. Valentine's Day. Henry Ansgar Kelly has observed that Chaucer might have had in mind the feast of St. Valentine of Genoa, an early bishop of Genoa who died around AD 307. It was probably celebrated on May 3rd. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Like, this Valentine's Day-ish, Kareem, it's not rooted in a historical event. So now when we're trying to make sense of like where it comes from, what did he mean in this poem, you can't really pin it down or nail it down. Which is fine, whatever. Kareem says, what did you say, Kareem? This is a great conversation though. I am not sure on this, but here in Canada, the age of consent is 14 if there's no adult involved. Okay. That's fine, whatever. I know the age of consent thing, it's kind of, it changes from place to place and time to time, right? And they say, according to Islamic belief, it's when the woman menstruates. Or, if I say woman, that also sounds strange, right? But you know what I mean. They also say in like native Amazonian cultures, it's the same idea. Menstruation marks the sign of adulthood. Who's to say? I mean, maybe science has a say. But we're not going according to any universal science, because from state to state, even in the United States, you get different ages. In my state, it's 16. At 16, you can give consent. And you know what? I don't see, if I was to come up with it, my concept would be different. My concept would be different on how consent works. I don't think a number is enough to qualify for consent, personally. But you could go really, really deep on this. And when you speak to women or females about this, like it's so interesting with females, because a lot of times after the fact, they will say that they didn't, like, females are strange. I'm trying to think of a precise example that could highlight what I'm trying to communicate. Nowadays, you can't say shit without some motherfucking feminist liberal trying to come out and label you some shit. But I had a female tell me that although she was consensually having sex with someone and continued to have sex with this person, like repeatedly, right? Like not once, not twice, like multiple times. She said that she was forced into it. or I'm trying to think of like the actual story. I got to get the actual story again. But when I heard it, I had to ask her like, also like he made you do it? Like he like coerced you in some sense? No, not really. You know, to a woman, here's the thing to a woman, right? I got it. I know what it is. In the moment has nothing to do with consent for them. It's how they feel after the fact. How they feel about you after the fact determines whether they consented or not. Maybe not all of them, but some of them do think this way. How they feel about you after, how things transpired after, is going to influence whether they believe they consented or not to something with you. And you know what? Cool. Even though that shit makes no fucking sense, I would say the safest thing for a guy to do is don't do anything with a woman that you are not in any like real relationship with. It's too dangerous, especially nowadays. They could say anything. They got the ultimate victim card nowadays. And I hate to put it that way, but it's the reality. Before, black people used to have the victim card. Nigga, black people don't got the motherfucking victim card no more. It's women in general. They are the most dangerous taboo thing that you can deal with as a modern man. You have to be very careful. And I don't even think that's a problem. I think it's a good thing. But guess what? It's a problem when accountability doesn't extend to both sides in a world where we're trying to promote equality, that the sexes are, that we're equal, right? Even though it's bullshit, right? This liberal feminist agenda is bullshit. I just think, guys, now you have to be very, very, very careful. Even if she says yes in the moment, you got to get that shit written on a goddamn contract or some shit. Record her on video saying, yes, I am sober. I am in my clear right mind. And this is what I want to do. You got to get this shit on video. And even that shit might not be enough because she might say it was AI. You got to be very careful. It's crazy now out here, Kareem. It's crazy. I feel bad for Gen Z. Why do I feel bad for Gen Z and whatever Gen is after them? I don't know what it's called, Gen X or whatever the hell is after Gen Z. I feel bad for them because even though I'm young, or I'm a grown ass man, but I'm still young, I at least experienced a time before woke fucking culture. This woke culture is like the worst shit that ever happened to America. America is like allowing itself to implode, to collapse from the inside. It ain't gonna collapse from the outside. It ain't gonna be no foreign, unless you can make the argument that there are foreign influences that are the ones controlling, you know, the social media algorithms and all this shit. You know, it's not all bad, but it's goddamn bad, Kareem. Oh, it's bad in America. You don't see, listen, you know it's bad, Kareem, when I could see my nephew with similar narratives that I'm seeing people as old as my uncle saying. This shit, this feminist woke culture shit, or this anti-man, because it's really like an anti-man shit. Oh, patriarchy. Oh, you know, that bullshit. Like my nephew and the generation that's in high school right now, I'm seeing like, because I'm connected to them and I work with youth and stuff like this, they are experiencing shit that like the adults are experiencing. There's really, like, before there used to be a cutoff between like the high school world and the adult world, right? The kids world and the adults world. Now it's all like one shit. I don't think that's a good thing. Like kids need to be able to be kids and adults are adults. There's supposed to be a separation, but now that separation doesn't exist. And it really is because of the internet and the phones and the social media and whatnot. And I think it's highly irresponsible that our government allows it. Highly irresponsible. Highly irresponsible. Now there are some governments around the world like Australia, and I think I may have seen there was another country that's putting limits on like 16 and younger social media. Kareem, I'm involved with sports. I'm involved with the sports. Yeah, I think it's highly irresponsible that our government has not addressed this. I think the Democrats are like, a modern Democrat is an absolutely disgusting, backward politician nowadays. They don't have a care in the world. They're all about liberalism and quote unquote progressivism. I got this thing, Kareem. I'm not one of these people that believes that like just because you have the freedom or the ability to do something that you should do it. Like where do you put the limits on what you do? Just because you can do it and it's modern to do it or futuristic to do it, it don't mean that it's good. A lot of people would tell you that they preferred the time when we didn't have so much advanced technology. Because guess what? We had more privacy. We had more privacy. Privacy is gone. I remember like 2012, 2013 when Facebook started to introduce facial recognition. They put a box over your face like, is this you? I'm like, oh shit. Nigga, how you know that's me? On a picture, random picture. Oh, that's such and such. We used to have more privacy. I would say like 2010, 2011, 2012, that was like a comfortable 2009-ish. That was like a comfortable balance with the technology. Now, this advanced technology, it's becoming destructive and negative. This is what nobody wants to talk about. Everyone wants to be Mr. Progressive, Mr. and Mrs. Progressivism. Shit, I could see in 2050, no more man and women bathrooms anymore. It's just gonna be how you identify. You go wherever the fuck you want. They already started doing that. The West is backwards, nigga. And you know what? Because the world is so backwards, let me turn this goddamn music off. I don't care how people feel when I get into religion. But one thing I do see is that these people back in the days, even back in the days, they had enough experience with different cultures to realize which cultures were destructive and what was a better way for people to live life. A lot of people like to act like everyone in the past was living this restricted lifestyle. No, absolutely not. There were fucking Greek culture and Roman. They had a lot of freedoms that are similar to how people behave today. You could argue it's very similar to today, that the Greek culture, especially sexually, right? Even with the female divinities, right? We had female divinities in Arabia. There were female divinities in Arabia, fertility gods and shit like that. Oh, we got a nice virgin here for you. This is the manifestation of the goddess such and such. Have sex with her. You know, just weird shit like that, right? Doing shit like that. So there were liberal fucking cultures of the past. Absolutely. Were there gender roles? Sure. But this liberalism, people like to act like liberalism is a new thing. This shit's not new. Where you get the religions come in, the religions is actually coming in to scale back the shit that was pre-existing at the same time and before it. They're saying, you know what? We've seen how destructive this shit was. We're gonna actually scale it back and lead a new society. That's why I was saying maybe a week or two ago that the climate that we have in today's time, I could see it being a similar climate that the Abrahamic faith religions came out of. We're gonna talk to the AI on this. Ishtar. Kareem said that's Ishtar I'm thinking of. You said I went to a bathroom in a venue here in Canada. All sex they call. I was embarrassed. I went to a bathroom maybe say 6 years ago, 7 years ago, at the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. Self-identified. Nigga, what? What you mean self-identified? So you mean to tell me if my big, tall, black ass want to go into a girl's bathroom, I could just walk in that motherfucker? And I hope they ain't doing that shit in the high schools, bro. Because you know what those girls gonna say? Oh my god, he was looking at me while I was using the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? It's just stupid shit that America is doing, bro. And they try to prevent you from saying it, right? They're trying to make common sense not common. They trying to flip everything and make it backwards. And then when you say something, oh, it's not the 1950s anymore. Like, yo, it's to the point, nigga, I don't even want to live amongst these people, Kareem. These people are fucking crazy. We living amongst a lot of crazy ass motherfucking people. It is really a liberal feminist issue that we have, and nobody really wants to talk about it. Nigga, I ain't no motherfucking fool. I'm not a fool. Shit. My grandmother, she gave me some sense. My mother, she gave me some sense. The only positive is I hope that these liberals and feminists don't have kids so they could just fucking die out. Keep on aborting their babies and shit. We do not need to continue to reproduce these motherfuckers. These motherfuckers is destroying our country. They're destroying America. We need them to die the fuck out. Seriously. That's the only thing I hope happens. Because if not, shit, I feel bad for the next generations. They're going to be so confused, bro. They don't even know what a woman is. They walking around saying, "What is a woman?" What? What is a fucking woman? And then if you say this, oh, that's hate speech. No, bitch, this is common sense. This ain't no motherfucking hate speech, nigga. And then, oh, here's the crazy part, Kareem. The main ones who are telling you it's hate speech and you're being hateful, bro, it's fucking white people. Out of all people, it's white women, nigga. What? They got the nerve. These white women got the nerve to tell a nigga he's being hateful. Can you imagine that? We got white women in America telling black people that they're hateful. These women, the main ones who benefited off of their men, right? They hate the patriarchy so much, but they don't talk about how much they benefited from the system that their men set up. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? These white feminist women, these white liberal feminist women, they're calling black people hateful as if they were not the primary beneficiaries and their children as well of the system that the patriarchs that they claim to hate so much set up. Listen, I'm at the point, Kareem, I'm cool with the fucking Christian whites. All right? I don't give a fuck. It's better to align with them than these crazy pink haired fucking nose ring bitches that don't even know what a woman is. Are you kidding me? Nigga, I say make America Christian again. I miss when America was Christian. These motherfuckers now are lunatics. They're fucking nuts. They are nuts. They're ruining the fucking country, bro. Are you kidding me? These quote unquote woke bastards are ruining the fabrics of society. They done took liberalism to the fucking extreme, nigga. Are you serious? Be a fucking man, yo. See, this is the problem. They done cucked men. They done turned you niggas into eunuchs. Eunuchs, bro. Come on, bro. Listen, I almost rather deal with the motherfucking racism. Here's why. Because back then, when these motherfuckers were openly like racist toward blacks, we stuck together better than we do now. Nowadays, black people think these white fucking liberals are their allies and friends. You gotta be shitting me, nigga. You gotta be shitting me. They think these people are their allies, and it's mainly the women. It's mainly the women. But man, trust me, I would prefer for America to be white Christian nationalists. You wanna know why? Because my people stuck together better than we do, excuse me, than we do now. Now, black people have no fucking identity. They have no unity. They don't know what they stand for. They don't know what they believe in. They don't know if they want to be in this group. They don't know if they want to be in that group. We got black people arguing with motherfucking black people now. Make America fucking Christian again, nigga. Yeah. Make America Christian again. I'm on that side, Kareem. Nigga, I voted for Trump, not Harris, motherfucker. Why? Because you vote for Harris, guess what would have happened? Shit, it seemed like it's gonna happen regardless. These people gonna fucking listen. These wokies want to burn down the fucking country, nigga. And then they running around calling it Black Lives Matter. There's no fucking black people in that shit, nigga. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? They're using us like to be a part of their shit, nigga. I went to a Black Lives Matter rally, nigga. You know how many black people I seen? Nigga, I was one of the only niggas there. And guess what? I wasn't there to support them. I was there just to see what the fuck was going on. There's no black people that support Black Lives Matter, nigga. Come on, Kareem, wake up, man. You falling for this liberal playbook because you're an immigrant. You know, I get it. Trust me, I get it, Kareem. You know, you're an immigrant and you living in the West and you a little bit afraid of the white man and shit. But shit, you want your kids to be confused about whether they're a boy or girl, nigga? They see a boy and call him a he, and he said, I'm not a he, I'm a it. Are you fucking kidding me, Kareem? This is what you want for your future, nigga? Nah, bro, fuck that. I'm rocking with the motherfucking. I never thought I'd see a day. I never thought I'd see the motherfucking day where I agree more with a white Christian nationalist than a motherfucking nigga being a motherfucking colored hair, nail painting ass, he, she, her, it motherfucker, bro. This shit is nuts. Come on. Come on. Come on. Nah, absolutely not. I ain't that far gone. I ain't never gonna be that far gone. They almost got me when I was in college though. College is the breeding ground for this backwards ideology. You know, the girls are just so impressionable. The girls are the main ones that's carrying in this ideology, bro. But it's all good. Like I said, I hope none of these liberal, pink hair, nose ring, 8 abortion, fucking bitches have kids. Let them die out. They're destroying our country. And it's almost to the point where I'm willing to say, fuck it, nigga. Y'all want to have this motherfucker? I'm leaving, nigga. Nigga, I get the fuck up out of here and go somewhere and live my life somewhere else, nigga. And show my great motherfucking life over there in the motherfucking Middle East or some shit, nigga. But here's the thing. America is a bitch. Why? Because America makes it difficult for any nation to live comfortably unless that nation bows the fuck down. So what they do, you see what they doing in Cuba? You see what they doing in Cuba? Cuba having an energy crisis. You see what they doing in Iran? Iran having an energy, a fucking financial crisis. So even if you want to leave and go somewhere else and live within a different culture, it's really hard. All those people they want to come here because their economies are crippled. America is a bitch. You hear me? Come on, man. Nigga, this is how I feel as a young black male in 2026, nigga. Niggas don't even really got voices anymore. What is the voice of the young black male in 2026? You let me know. Niggas ain't got no motherfucking voice. Niggas is over here siding with pink haired motherfuckers. I'm out and about. I'm seeing niggas painting their motherfucking nails. What are you doing? You a grown ass man with your fucking feet out in sandals and you got your toes painted. What the fuck is going on? What's going on? What's going on? We got motherfuckers chopping their titties off. What about BLM, nigga? Fuck BLM. That's how I feel. That's my true feelings. They're fraudulent. They Oh, here's another thing I don't like. I really dislike how they took this flag, this LGBT flag, and put a black and brown stripe in that motherfucker as if all black people done consented to that shit. That shit's not our culture, nigga. I'm black, nigga. Do we have gay people that are black? Absolutely. But guess what? Nigga, sometimes they're your family and such, and that's fine, right? But it's never something where we try to like push it and impress it on everyone else. You didn't need to accept that. A lot of the mothers and parents were not comfortable with that, right? Nowadays, and I'm not saying that they need to be punished or hurt. No, because I know what a punk ass liberal is gonna want to say, right? I'm not saying that those people need to be harmed, but we didn't celebrate that shit. Nowadays, shit, that shit is celebrated. Look at Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X, when this nigga first came out, when he first came out, was he gay? Nope. His career started to tank, right? He had a big hit, Old Town Road. He was doing really, really well. Had a big motherfucking hit. Nigga it seemed straight as can be. How you turn gay once your career started to tank? People didn't see that. Bro, the nigga's career started to go into the dumps. He came out of nowhere. He rose from the dead like motherfucking Christ with this gay shit. And the motherfucker's career went boom, took way off. Y'all don't see this? Nobody saw that? So it clearly tells you that these people who's running these music industry, these music record labels and shit, they're clearly like planting it, bro. It's so fucking obvious. It's so obvious. And then now, if you want to get into the celebrities and the shit, let's think about this. Let's think about this. Celebrities, all these people in the Epstein files and shit, the mega rich people. What is one thing about them? They have status, they have access, right, to almost any vice that they want. When you overindulge in vices, what happens? Nigga, your receptors get motherfucking compromised, right? That's like, it's like this. When you first start eating Chinese food, it tastes motherfucking delicious. But guess what? When you eat too much Chinese food, it don't taste good anymore. This is what I believe happened to these motherfucking celebrities and why they're so twisted. These people are the most twisted, backwards individual. Why? Because they done overindulged in the vices that their fame and status and money gave them access to. So what does that mean now? What does that mean? Now how do you get pleasure and joy if your receptors are motherfucking compromised? Now you got to go to the most extreme of the extremes. Then we read in these quote unquote Epstein files, and you see what they doing to try to get their ish off. You see, and I believe that's where the gay shit and all that shit comes from, the pedophilia and all that shit. That's my belief from observation, right? In my worldview, that's where I believe it. It's when you look, everything is healthier in moderation. Everything. Too much sweets, diabetes, high blood pressure, and salt, right? Diabetes and high blood pressure. Not enough sugar or salt, you're gonna have low blood pressure or whatever the hell, right? So you gotta have everything in moderation. These people, these people, it's almost like I seen there was a woman who said, I'm gonna just be a strict vegetarian. Bro, she was unhealthy or a vegan or some. It was something like that. She was like an extreme health nut to the point where overdoing it made her unhealthy. So I believe, you know, these people are so greedy, so overindulged that they have to be extreme. And I feel like that's starting to happen to the average person in American society. Look at the example with the phones, right? We have instant gratification and pleasure at our fingertips. What has that done? It's destabilized relationships. It's destabilized people's focus and attention span. Why? Because it's too much. You understand what I'm saying, Kareem? Am I making sense? Or am I nigga, I know I'm making sense. I know I am. This is what's going on in the world, bro. This is why I believe, listen to this, Kareem. This gonna fuck your head up. This gonna mess you up, Kareem. I believe one or two things are gonna happen. One or three things. We're gonna continue on the path that we are on with like the extreme overindulgence of vices and pleasures, right? Which is what people do now, right? You got access to pretty much whenever you want it. It's at your fingertips. Or two, America is gonna go back to being like traditionalist Christian. That's all right. I'm about to finish up right now. Or three, you're not gonna believe this. One day, Kareem, America is gonna become Muslim. That's right, I said it. Either America is gonna destroy itself going on the path that it's on, or they're gonna go back to being traditionalist Christian. Or the third, I bet you, it sounds crazy now. America gonna become a Muslim nation. Watch, you gonna see. You're gonna see. Have a good night, Kareem. That's it. That's my show. That's دراسات العرب السود الجزء الرابع والعشرون. All right. That's Black Arab Studies Part 24 for your ass. Have a good night, man. Have a good night. Have a good night. Have a good night.
Speedy baby.
Racks and racks and racks.
It's my boy Marzon.
Nice big bell. Try. Yeah. I spent some racks on my clothes. Racks and racks and racks. Hundreds of stacks on the floor. Racks and racks and racks. This bitch came asking for more. Baby, relax. When I came back from my tour. I'm back. Got out still back on parole. They hate me cause I'm black. Slipped up, got back on my toes. It's a black me back. Far as his parents is gone. I'm black. I wasn't feeling the mood. Far as his music goes. I wasn't feeling the flow. No nigga, your ceiling's too low. This shit must real in my phone. I'm riding till I die. These bitches still on the phone. I'm flying to the sky, do what I tell him to do. Eat dick and make me some food. T-Bone sticking my makes me you being so rude. I do it out of spite, about to protect if I choose. It's just I can make it blind. I don't ever follow rules. I be drinking while I drive. If I'm ever on the news, 10 to 5, it's a 5. My competitors lose. Let's goodbye, say goodbye. 40 MG in my jewels. I be yada yada yada. My bitch petite and she rude. And she body yada yada. I sweep the street, you the zoo. Yada yada yada. Them shit they sweep with the school. Yada yada yada. Shit don't stop.